Hello everybody, welcome back to Noel's Family Garage. Today we're going to be working on this 2010 Chevy pickup. It's a 1500 I believe. We're going to be putting in a new CV axle, so I will show you guys that as we get going here, and I'll show you also what tools you'll need and all that good stuff. So stay tuned and we'll get this done. Alright, so the tools that I have set aside here for this project, I've got this pry bar, which you'll see why I need later, a hammer, a 3/4 end wrench, box end preferred usually, because where you got to get into you can't really fit this open end part here. You'll want your torque wrench, impact gun, which I got 1/2 inch set up, so that's what I'm using, 1 3/8 socket for the axle nut, a 3/4 socket for the lug nuts, and I had one more, here it is, and a 5/8 socket for the bolts that go in to your flange area here on the CV axle, up on the differential. And you'll want a pickle fork for getting apart your top of your steering knuckle, because you got to get it loose to get in there, and then a 19mm is also used. So first thing you're going to want to do, which I've already done this, is jack up the truck on a safe spot, and then you're going to want to put a jack stand somewhere where, in case the jack gives out, that jack stand will catch this. So this is where that 3/4 socket's going to come into play. Another tool you're going to end up needing, which somebody's already been into this one, but you'll need a screwdriver to try to pop this out. Just get a little loose around it, get it opened up a bit, and then you can pop that out. Now I got access to that. Let's see how tight it is. If it's too tight, we'll have to get some heat on it probably. Well, I'll go get some heat from the torch, I guess. Get right back with you guys. Okay, let's see what that does now. Comes right off that way. There we go. Nice and hot. Usually take a screwdriver, get in the grooves in the rotor, you can pull on it and it'll pull that over a little bit, that caliper. And I should give you enough room to get this off, which I don't really want that to hang there, but I have to let it hang for a second until I go get my piece of wire. Alright, so I'm back. So I got a piece of wire and I'll usually hook it onto here on one of the ears. I'll drag this over the top so that it can hook onto this bolt here and lay all the way over here, because I got to get in right back up in this hole here. You can see all the bolts right there around the axle. Those all come out. Those are 5/8 bolts. So I'll show you guys what I do on those. It works out pretty good. Then you can just use you can roll that around and just kind of lay this back in there. They come right out usually. That one tried to take off on us. One more here. Alright, now that I got that part done, I gotta get this nut off back here. Man, that thing's tight. We'll double wrench it and see if that'll get her off of there. There we go. See a little leverage, I guess. So you get this nut off back in here where the top ball joint goes in. Before I get too far, I probably better get this popped out of here. Normally I just undo, there's a 10mm bolt right there to undo. But where this thing's been out in Ohio and it's got rust on everything, I don't want to take a chance of breaking that off. Because then I wouldn't have anything to secure this thing to the control arm with, so it'll just be hanging there in the way. You gotta undo this here too. I don't know if you can see that right now, but undo that. That's your freaking ABS sensor. Hang it out to the sideways somewhere. Dang it. Got that plastic clip to snap undone finally. Okay, so that's loose now. Get this out of there. I don't really want that hanging up between there and tangled up. Alright, let's finish getting this upper ball joint undone. Alright, got that nut off. Now I'll get this pickle fork. Make sure I don't pinch the boot in there, and we'll beat this in. There you go, it popped loose. So now we can get this thing higher up here out of my way. So I know where everything's going. Then you'll want to get back in here and pop this loose and get it down if you can. There we go. That should let her down. Now I can hopefully kick this thing up out of there. There we go. It's coming up and out. You can get just enough room to get this out of there. But I think I had to drop them through the bottom this way. That makes you have to pull that whole knuckle clear off, because that's a pain in the butt. So that's out. Now we can fish the new one in. Alright, so here's the reason for this bar. I have a glove on, so I'm not pinching my fingers off in there. Okay, so you want to get your top ball joint back in, like that. You want to take your bar right here, find something and wedge it in there. So you can get your nut started on there. Where that nut went? Shoot. I put a little Loctite inside that nut. It's got a lock piece in the nut, but it kind of sucks a little bit. They get wore out once you take them on and off. So you can reuse them. You just got to make sure you put some Loctite in it, and it's still biting going on anyway, so I'm not too worried. Oh, another tool you might need is a pair of vice grips or something to hold that. So let me go grab those now. Alright, so as you can see here, I've got a pair of vice grips right there holding that nut, or holding the bottom of that stud that comes through. And then I'm just sucking it down now with a wrench. Until it gets snug, and I'll take the vice grips off so they don't get stuck in there. But get those out of there. Get this thing all tightened up. Well, it's still turning, dang it. Let's grab that again on the bottom there. I'm gonna have to hold that where this gets snugged. Alright, so pop those off. That thing's getting snugged up enough, easy enough that I'm not real worried about it now. Man, it's hot. The new nut that came with it comes with a washer built on, so you don't have to have one of them other stinking washers that goes in there separate. Hang that over here somewhere for a minute, right here, just till I get everything back where it goes. I'll be snapping this one back in where it goes right there. Then we'll snap this other one in. It goes here. So we got that one snapped in. And then of course got to reconnect that. I can't do that one up here. I got to reconnect that. I can't do that one-handed though. So I'll set you guys down and we'll get some of this stuff done. And this also, let's see here. So this one, Once you pop that out, it's also got a little spot right here where it goes back into right there. So see that one? That one snaps back in there. Down through those two holes, there's a little keeper and then a little stud that has like little pieces poking out, lock it in, little barbs. And then get my brake assemblies all put back on there. This piece goes back up in there like so. And then these go into here. Sometimes you'll fight these stupid top ones a little bit. There we go. And then that back one, we'll get it set in there. So there we go. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys, if you look at your pads, if you want them to go back where they went, you just look at the pattern right here. You can see the pattern around this. The other side has round circles because of the pistons, so you'll know that what goes where. That way they're where the same probably when you put them back in. These bolts, I've already got anti-seize all over them, so we'll go ahead and can't get those started up here. Bolt in. Yeah, if you adjust that around, you can use a screwdriver in this end or up here, wherever, to get those started. Okay, I'm going to torque all this stuff. I'm not going to give you guys the torque specs because whatever you're working on may be different, and I don't want that to affect how it's going to work, you know, because you might over torque whatever you're working on or under torque it depending on the vehicle. So this one, I'll get the specs for it real quick and I'll come and torque all these things. Got to torque the brakes, the brake caliper bolts. I probably should torque this center bolt that goes through, hooks up, that's the new CV axle. And then I'll have to torque all the bolts back in there on that flange. Alright, so you can see up in there now, I've got my torque wrench, wherever it went to here. So if you go right here and get in between the rotor, there's a gap all the way around the rotor that has a little, so lock it. Then you can go in here to your desired torque. Hit that one. And then you'll want to go opposite to right there. Hit this one right here. Now we'll roll it to the next one's right there. Which is, I skipped one and went to the next one. Okay, so that one's done. Let's rotate it now. Or that same one on the other side comes up here. Okay, so that one's done. And then I'll roll it to the next one, the exact next one right next to it, so I haven't hit it yet. Okay, that one's done. Now I need to roll it around until that other one's on the opposite side. Stick this back in, hit this last one. So that's where it needs to be. So you'll want to look up online what your torque spec is for your particular vehicle. I just went through and torqued all the bolts back in there. You'll put them in finger tight first. I do one on that side and one straight across on this side. Get those finger tight so that it sits in the little, there's like a little dip that it sits into in there, a little ridge. So you get it into that, get those ones in, then you can grab this and spin it around. See, you can look up in there, you can see it. Let me see, I'll show you. You can spin it around where you want it. Then you can reach right through here. This is the easiest place to reach through to get to them. And you can just roll it around and put them all in. But then when you start torquing them, you want to do them in a pattern, like you'll do one here, next one straight across, and then you'll want to get the next set that's up here and across, and then up here and across. So you want to do them in a pattern where you're tightening across from each other, but you don't want to tighten them all up in a circular pattern. Like, you're not going to start here and just tighten them all the way around. You're going to jump from side to side so that you get those right. And then you're going to want to torque these. These are already torqued. So you torque those. After you put those back on, you torque this. And then the last thing I got to do, I got to tap that cap back on there. Put on the tire and tighten it up, and then we'll be done. So that's about it. We're lucky we got light rims on this truck, so it's not too bad. Same on my wheels. I like to I'll just bump one down, then one across from it, then one over here, one over here, one up here, one down here. That gets you a pattern and gets it tightened up evenly. So now I'm going to grab my bigger torque wrench and I'll go ahead and hit all these, and then we'll let this thing down and we'll be done with that. So that about sums that up. So if you guys like this stuff that we're doing and watching this stuff, and if it's helping you at all, please like and subscribe so that I can grow this channel a little bigger. The bigger I get it, the better it's going to be. The more fun projects we'll do then, instead of things like this that aren't fun, that are just necessary things but not fun. I'd rather do some fun stuff mixed in with my necessary stuff if I can help it. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll just keep on making these videos. So stay tuned for the next